For millions of fans, Al Green is the voice behind one of the greatest soul songs ever recorded, "Let's Stay Together." But his life story includes a moment so shocking, it nearly ended everything. In 1974, during the height of his fame, Al Green was attacked in his own home when a former partner threw a pot of boiling grits on him before taking her own life. The incident left him severely burned and permanently changed the direction of his life. Not long after, the soul superstar began stepping away from secular music and turning toward faith, eventually becoming a pastor in Memphis. To the public, that moment marked the beginning of Al Green's redemption story. But inside his family, the story was more complicated. Because behind the legend and the pulpit was another reality. 7 children growing up in the shadow of fame, scandal, and a father whose life moved between 2 very different worlds. By 2026, those 7 children have taken very different paths. Some stayed close to music. Some stayed close to faith. Others chose quiet lives far away from the spotlight. Together, their lives tell the deeper story of what it means to grow up inside one of soul music's most complicated legacies. And to understand that legacy, we have to start with the child who witnessed the earliest years of Al Green's rise, long before the world saw the pastor he would eventually become. To see how that transformation shaped the family, we have to begin with his eldest daughter, Alva Green. Alva Green is the firstborn daughter of the soul legend. Born in 1980, just 3 years after Al Green's high-profile marriage to Shirley Kiles, she entered a world where the echoes of R&B stardom were beginning to collide with the call of the pulpit. Like her father, Alva was destined for music, but she didn't chase the blinding neon lights of commercial fame. Instead, she chose a path far more intimate and profound. Within the hallowed walls of the Full Gospel Tabernacle Church in Memphis, the sanctuary founded by her father, Alva became a pillar of the choir. Those who have heard her sing describe a voice that carries the same Green family DNA, a raw, visceral depth of emotion that blurs the line between a soulful melody and a spiritual testimony. She doesn't just sing. She preserves the very autobiographical gospel style that defined her father's transition from the stage to the altar. As we move through 2026, at the age of 46, Alva has evolved into the guardian of the legacy. She is the bridge between 2 worlds. Sources reveal she is the driving force behind digitizing the Green archives, ensuring her father's classic soul hits aren't lost to time, but are reborn for a new generation of streaming audiences. Within the walls of their large, complex family, Alva acts as the connective tissue, the peacemaker and coordinator among her many siblings and half-siblings. Now that Al Green has entered his 80s, Alva has transitioned into his most trusted confidant. From managing the practicalities of his estate to curating which musical projects deserve a revival, she has dedicated her life to protecting the Green sound so it can continue to serve humanity. If you've followed the other stories on this channel, you'll realize Alva's path is an anomaly. She didn't rebel against the shadow of her famous father. She stepped into it to keep the light burning. That is the steady, soulful life of Alva Green. But the family story takes a different turn with our next subject. Let's look at the life of Ruby Renee Green and how she overcame the weight of the Green name. Born in the early 1980s, the daughter of Al Green and his first wife, Shirley Kiles, Ruby grew up in Memphis during a time when her father was beginning to shift from secular soul music to evangelical ministry. As a child, the center of family life shifted from touring to the Full Gospel Tabernacle, where Al Green served as pastor from the late 1970s. For Ruby and her sisters, that church was both home and training ground. Memphis had long been one of the most important centers of American evangelical culture, and within the church, Ruby was exposed early to the powerful traditions of black gospel music. The call and response singing, the improvisational vocals, and the emotional intensity that connected gospel music to its historical soul music roots. Growing up as the daughter of a pastor, also meant living under constant supervision. In later interviews and podcast conversations, Ruby described the experience of being a PK, the child of a pastor, as both a privilege and a pressure. Church members often expect pastors' children to perfectly embody church values, leaving little room for common mistakes or self-discovery. However, it was in that very environment that Ruby found her voice. As an adult, she became a worship leader in her church community, frequently performing at services and gospel gatherings. Her musical style reflects a natural blend of influences, the emotional expression inherent in classical soul singing, and the devotional structure of contemporary gospel worship. Her music reached a wider audience in 2018 when she released her gospel album, Sama Jesus. This project has been warmly received within religious communities and has garnered attention for its blend of traditional gospel themes with a modern production style influenced by R&B and hip-hop. Songs like Real Jesus and What's Up illustrate this approach, combining evocative vocals with contemporary rhythms designed to connect with younger listeners. Beyond the church stage, Ruby has also developed a meaningful online presence. Through her Instagram account at the Alva Green, which as of 2026 had garnered over 71,000 followers, she shares videos of worship, family moments, and reflections on faith, motherhood, and the reality of growing up in a pastoral family. Instead of showcasing a polished celebrity image, her content often focuses on authenticity, discussing the tension between societal expectations and personal spiritual life. That theme became particularly clear in 2025 when Ruby appeared on the EPK Pod, a podcast exploring the experiences of pastors' children. In the conversation, she candidly shared the challenges of growing up in a pastoral environment, the pressure to project spiritual perfection, and the journey of developing a truly personal faith, not simply one that was inherited. For many listeners, those reflections brought her voice closer, extending beyond the confines of the church community. In the broader story of the Green family, Ruby's role is particularly important. If Al Green's early career shaped the golden age of soul music, and his later life symbolized a dramatic spiritual transformation, Ruby represents a generation striving to translate that legacy into the modern world, where ministry, music, and digital communication frequently intersect. By 2026, Ruby continues to live a relatively private life, focused on family and church. Her social media page is simply described as child of God, wife, mother. She regularly shares moments from her daily life, celebrating important milestones with her husband Damo Farmer, reflecting on motherhood, and documenting church activities with her children. Posts from 2025 and early 2026 show a balance between ministry and family life, including wedding anniversaries, church gatherings, and conversations about faith and creativity. Although no new albums have been widely released in recent years, Ruby remains actively involved in worship leadership, continues to share music with online audiences, and occasionally hints at future creative projects. That's Ruby's story. But within the Green family, no two lives have unfolded in exactly the same way. And among the daughters of Al Green, the next story belongs to someone who chose a quieter, more reflective path. Her name is Kora Green, the youngest of the three sisters, and perhaps the most private voice in the family. On her personal social media page, Kora Green introduces herself with a statement that encapsulates almost everything about how she sees her place in the world. The poet daughter of a legend. Simple words, yet they reveal so much about the youngest daughter of Al Green and Shirley Kiles. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, in 1983, Kora grew up in a family shaped by two powerful forces, her father's musical legacy and the deep spiritual life surrounding the Full Gospel Tabernacle Church. For many children growing up in that environment, identity might feel predetermined. The expectations of a pastoral family are demanding, and the shadow of a musical legend can be overwhelming. But Kora's story ultimately takes a quieter, more unconventional path. Her parents separated shortly after she was born, and although she maintained relationships with both families, her life gradually expanded beyond Memphis. As an adult, she eventually moved to Los Angeles, building an independent life while remaining connected to the Green family network. Unlike her sister Ruby, who pursued a career as a gospel musician, Kora rarely pursued a performing career in public. Since 2009, she has worked with Alva Green Music, the organization responsible for managing aspects of her father's musical portfolio and professional affairs. Over the years, she has held roles such as executive assistant and payroll administrator, quietly supporting the infrastructure that sustains the Green family's musical legacy. Beyond her professional work, Kora expresses her creative side in another form: writing. On social media, she frequently shares short poetic reflections and personal captions emphasizing confidence, belief, and identity. By 2026, Kora Green will primarily be living in Los Angeles, balancing her personal independence with her continuing role within the Green family network. She remains involved in Alva Green Music, contributing to the administrative and operational aspects of her father's legacy, while maintaining close relationships with her siblings and extended family. She is also described by the public as the warm, hidden member of the Green family. Do you think this description is accurate? What do you think of Kora? Let us know in the comments. And now we'll explore the story of the next member, the son named Trevor Green. Within Alva Green's extended family, Trevor Green is one of the least known children. Unlike the well-documented lives of Shirley Kyles' daughters, Alva, Ruby, and Kora, Trevor represents a different, more discreet branch of the family. To date, his mother's identity has never been confirmed by reliable sources, leaving a gap in public records where his childhood story should have been. Even the most basic information about his life is shrouded in mystery. With no verified birth date, we can only look at the family timeline and speculate that he emerged sometime in the late 1980s or early 1990s. By 2026, Trevor Green had mastered the art of concealment. While his father's voice resonates across global streaming platforms, Trevor has chosen a life of complete privacy. There are no tabloid headlines, no publicly known career milestones, and no digital footprint linking his personal life or marital status. He lives in quiet solitude amidst the Green family's public appearances. But Trevor isn't the only one who prefers silence. Like him, another brother has also withdrawn from the glitz and glamour of the stage, choosing a path entirely different from the legendary Green family stage. That person is Alva Green Jr., the son who shares the same name as his father. It seems even the naming process carries a heavy responsibility, given the constant comparisons and immense expectations. Without specific information, it's estimated Alva Green Jr. was born sometime in the 1980s or early 1990s. He is currently around 30 to 45 years old. Until 2026, information about him remains a mystery. There are no professional musical releases, no media tours, and no public performances. He represents a different legacy. The fact that bearing a famous name doesn't mean you have to repeat the life that made you famous. And that choice seems similar to that of the other members, widening the gap between them and their father's fame. And the members I'm referring to are Kora Green and Chris Burse Sr. Of Alva Green's 7 children, Kora is perhaps the most private. In the noisy age of digital technology, she has achieved something rare for the children of a legend: complete anonymity. No leaked interviews, no social media controversies, and no desperate scramble for attention. By 2026, her absence from the pages of the press will no longer be a mystery. It will become a boundary. She proves that being part of a family doesn't mean you have to become public property. The same is true for their son, Chris Burse Sr., son of Alva Green and Shirley Kyles. Chris grew up in the close-knit Green family circle with Alva, Ruby, and Kora. As of 2026, aside from the assumption that he was born sometime in the 1970s or 1980s, no further information has been gathered. Of the 7 Green siblings, the stories of Trevor Green, Albert Al Green Jr., Kora Green, and Chris Burse Sr. remain a mystery, and perhaps will never be fully revealed. Behind the legendary voice that shaped an era of American soul music is a family as diverse as the music itself. From church choir leaders to those who chose quiet, private lives, each of Al Green's children found their own path through their father's complex journey from fame to faith. Al Green gave the world music, but it is his children who live the story behind the lyrics. In 2026, whether they're preserving the family archives or simply living their own lives, their resilience is true testament to the Green family legacy. It's the story of a family that not only survived a tumultuous past, but also rose above it to write their own chapters. The Green family's journey is a rare mirror reflecting human struggle and spiritual healing. But what do you think? Is legacy best preserved through the spotlight or through the quiet lives of those who bear that name? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Al Green's lasting impact. If you found this in-depth Green family story helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We're exploring untold stories of the most complex families in music every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.